St. Patrick's Day event Minigame 2023 in Forge of Empires. The minigame shows a city divided by a river. In this city, the hard-working people are all on the right in the production facilities, and the pleasure-seeking sinners are on the left with the harbour and the festival. In between, there's a ship that takes all the goods produced on the right to the left side, where they are then sold to the sinners. It all starts with having only one production at first. Clicking on this building produces heads, and another click then takes the heads to the river and starts a new head production. You then click on the harbour building on the other side of the river and a ship picks up the heads produced. When the ship has returned to the harbour, you can sell the heads by clicking on the event and get shamrocks for them. These can then be used to improve the production building, expand the harbour and enlarge the festival. Through these measures, more and more shamrocks can be accumulated more and more quickly. You can then use them to expand even further, collect even more quickly, and so on. In the end, you are required to collect a gigantic amount of shamrocks. At the beginning, this seems completely impossible, but by expanding all the buildings, it becomes an achievable goal. Now, nobody wants to sit in front of the PC day and night and click this manually for 21 days. That's why you can hire a manager for each production facility, ship and event. But beware, this manager costs pots of gold and you should be very stingy with them. But you really can't do without managers. So you hire a manager for the head factory, the harbour and the event. This automates the whole process and from now on the city produces 24 hours a day, even if the player is logged out. Above you can see 3 tasks. In total, the city has 38 of these tasks. The almost only goal of this city is to fulfill these tasks. Everything else is only a means to an end, as the entire city will disappear again completely after reaching the goal, and then a new city will start with slightly different tasks. To make the pots of gold last, a certain efficiency and a not inconsiderable time commitment are required. Therefore, the first tip of this video is always give completing the task priority. Everything else is unimportant compared to this. Managers can be promoted with pots of gold. Then they work faster. The factory produces more, the ship transports more, the event delivers more shamrocks. But every promotion costs pots of gold, and we want to spend as little of that as possible. Therefore, only carry out those promotions that are absolutely necessary as a task. Please always bear in mind that this city will only work for a few days and will then start from scratch again. All the manager we have bought will be gone. The pots of gold, of which we will only get 11,200, will have to last for a very long time. So we come to the second tip of this video: never promote a manager unnecessarily. As soon as we have produced some shamrocks, we can invest them in expanding the production facilities. There are certain levels for this expansion. The upgrades within the level have little effect, and at higher upgrade levels they often cost more than can be achieved through them. However, fully completing expansion levels have a leapfrog effect. The harbour and the festival have such efficiency jumps when upgraded to levels 10, 25, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250 and 300. It is true that the production buildings also have many such efficiency jumps. Here, however, it is only important to know that the first jump occurs at level 25. In principle, you should never expand a production building beyond level 25 unless one of the tasks explicitly or indirectly demands it. More on this later. At this point, I just want to make it clear that upgrading beyond level 25 is less beneficial than building the next better production building and then upgrading it. From this explanation, we should take the following tips. Complete levels as much as possible. Upgrade production buildings to level 25 only. This will really make a difference. If you produce more, you should also transport more. And finally, the event should also grow to the same extent. Do not simply expand wildly. If there is an imbalance, it's not a problem. Instead, always orientate yourself to the tasks. Ultimately, it is important to fulfill these tasks. The shamrocks all end up on the compost heap anyway. I have therefore assigned the 38 tasks to the individual buildings. This helps to better assess what is needed, where and when. At the top right, you can see the task of the hat factory. The hat factory is to be upgraded to level 25, a little later to level 100, still later the manager is to be promoted to level 3 and finally the building is to be upgraded to level 200. If you progress quickly in the quest series and have enough pots of gold very early on, can of course immediately promote the manager to level 3. It does not become cheaper by doing it later. When the corresponding task then comes, it is fulfilled immediately if the prerequisite is already given. But be careful, it would be unfortunate if these pots of gold are then missing elsewhere. This first run requires a total of 1000 gold pots to complete the task. Tip 4. Make progress on the event quest line as quickly as possible in order to have enough gold pots at the beginning. In most events, you can take it slowly. Not in this event. If possible, start the first town on the first day of the event and take about an hour to do it. Running through a hat factory on a low level is almost useless. You should take a first break when the harbour and the festival are at least at level 100. This takes about an hour, including breaks. So, the next tip is to plan an hour's play at the beginning of each city. It is even advantageous to do this on the first day in the morning. If you start in the evening, you lose a few hours of production time. That alone is not a disaster, but many such handicaps accumulated lead to failure. Managers who are needed anyway should be promoted to the target level set by the tasks at the first opportunity in order to use the advantage as early as possible and thus for as long as possible. The same should never be done with the production tasks. For example, the hat factory should be upgraded to level 200 at some point due to corresponding tasks. However, we have learned this expansion costs more than it brings. Therefore, never expand production buildings beyond level 25 earlier than the tasks require. The reason for this is simple. There are tasks that require the expansion of any building by a number of levels. If you then expand the head factory as the cheapest building to fulfill this task, you are effectively fulfilling 2 tasks at once. Tip 6. Only upgrade production buildings when a quest demands it. As a further guideline, you should keep in mind that it makes sense to upgrade the harbour and the festival to at least level 250. Of course, this can only be done step by step, whereby longer breaks in the game will accumulate shamrock stocks, which then make many new expansion levels possible all at once. Those who take 4 days for each city are well on track. Most players tend to make the mistake of completing cities too early. Tip 7. 4 to 5 days per city is a good value. Don't move too fast. Task 36 at the festival is collect 16 quadrillion shamrocks. This seems like an almost unattainably huge number at the beginning. Now, the big numbers are abbreviated. That is 1B, which abbreviates a billion. It is 1,000 million. 1T stands for a trillion and 1Q then stands for a quadrillion. These huge numbers and the abbreviations can be very confusing. Just don't get confused by them. The next dimension is always 1,000 times the previous dimension. You could complete the first city with just 1 million shamrocks. However, I do not recommend this. Before completing a city, you should at least complete as many tasks as possible, especially those requiring no or only a few pots of gold. I advise Serenity. Forge of Empires is in many ways a game of patience. We have time. Tip 9. Complete as many tasks as possible before completing a city. To save the scarce pots of gold, you can specifically skip tasks. For example, you can skip task 25 in the first and fourth city. This task requires you to upgrade the ship manager to level 4. By skipping this task, you save 270 pots of gold. You still will be able to complete the city, especially if you have upgraded the harbour to level 300. As I said, we have time. Along the same lines, you can also save 150 gold pots for the ship manager level 4 on task 35 of the second city and 150 gold pots for the festival manager on task 23 of the third city. Of course, you can skip other tasks, but this will always take more time. In return, you can treat yourself to the manager of the head factory for 10 gold pots in the second city, although this is not required in any task. But without the manager, it would be a pain in the ass to click. Tip 10. All cities offer tasks to save numerous pots of gold. If you click on completing a run, you get the chance to buy boxes. The first box is free, the second costs 50 pots of gold, and then they get more and more expensive. These 6 boxes together cost 1,850 pots of gold. If you buy all of them, you get a 25% discount. So you should definitely have a stock of 1,400 gold pots at the time of completing the first city, plus about 200 gold pots for starting the second city. To do that, though, you have to be pretty spry with the quest line. That isn't without. This event demands a lot from the players. Tip 11. Only complete a city if you have a stock of 1,600 gold pots. Each purchased box contains a small prize on the level we usually know from daily specials. Even if the prices offered are not really interesting, be sure to buy all 6 boxes. With every bought box, the price of the next box doubles, no matter in which order you open them. If you have bought all 6 boxes for a total of 1,400 gold pots, you will always get a selection kit for the event building. You can then either use this selection kit as an upgrade kit or construct another level 1 building. The latter is rather irrelevant. Buying all 6 boxes is so important because only then will you get the upgrade kit you need so urgently. Afterwards, a new set appears. Now even the first box already costs pots of gold. The complete set then costs an impressive 2,800 gold pots. This is more something for players who want to use about 25,000 diamonds in this event to get the event building a second time. Therefore, the next tip: do not open any box of the second set of boxes. The second run then has slightly different tasks. It also requires a total of 1,000 pots of gold. Otherwise, everything remains as before. Once again, plan an hour of time in front of the computer at the beginning of the city in order to speed up the slow start of production through manual intervention. Now we are already practiced and can work through this routinely. We should also only complete the second city when we have a stock of at least 1,600 gold pots. After the second city, we buy another set of boxes. The first set of boxes after each run gives the first box for free. The set therefore only costs a total of 1,900 gold pots. Again, do not buy the second set of boxes. Then follows the third run, which requires 980 pots of gold. The 38 tasks for each run are also listed in the first pinned comment below the video. The fourth city then has exactly the same task as the first city. So the goal is to complete 4 cities and make so many tasks out of the fifth city that after a total of 175 tasks you then get the 7th grand prize. Of course, you are allowed to vary this and complete more cities, which will certainly be possible due to saved gold pots. However, the time required for this event increases dramatically. Here again, the most important tips at a glance. As shown in the first video, the really good event building justifies the time commitment. That should be incentive enough for all of us. And once you've got the hang of it after the initial confusion, the minigame is fun. Good luck!